And hit record. Thank you. Zoom. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us today. Our VMFA topic of discussion is veteran employment. And what I like to do to get us started each month is I like to review our mission and objectives, just to remind everyone why we are here. So the VMFA stands for Veterans Military and Families Alliance, and our region is the Greater Triangle. So it's really the Triangle North up to the Virginia border. But we do, work with organizations that are statewide and some are even national. But our mission is to strengthen the local veteran and military community. And our objectives are to identify gaps, opportunities, and barriers in service to improve service for veterans and military families. We coordinate information on services for veterans and their families, and we educate veterans, military families, and community advocates on community-based efforts in suicide prevention. So what I would like to start off, we'll do introductions first. Everyone, I am Brooke Dickhart. I am the Executive Director of the Joel Fund. And we are, I guess, kind of the lead organization for the Alliance. And we'll do a small icebreaker. We were having a whole conversation on pets. And so let us know, are you a dog person, a cat person, or neither? I'm a dog person. So we're going to go around the room first. Isabella.
Hi, I'm Isabella Brzezinski. I am the Operation Art Program Coordinator for the Joel Fund, and I'm the daughter of an Army veteran. You're gonna make me choose between dogs and cats.
I didn't say you had to choose.
Well, then great, then I won't choose. So I'm a dog and a cat person. I've only ever owned a cat, but I love dogs too.
Look, Tank's like, really? You're gonna make him choose?
This is Tank. Everybody sees Tank. So, Bill Dixon, United States Army, Vietnam veteran, representing Vietnam Veterans of America, North Carolina Council, also Vets United, service dogs.
Nice. Okay, hi, I'm Siobhan Norris, the Director for Wake County Veteran Services, Army veteran, long military lineage, spouse, all the things. I am an animal person. I cannot just choose between a dog and a cat. So this past weekend, my friend and I got to play with a miniature Highland cow and a mini donkey and goats and pigs. And I was in heaven. I was like, I stay happy today.
I bet.
So all the animals.
I love that.
It was at the Dorothea Dix Park. It was the fall facility.
Hey, I'm Kristen Ross. I'm with Hired Heroes USA. I'm the federal program specialist, so working that way. I would say I'm more of a cat person because I just can't bring myself to go outside to walk the dog. That's kind of my point. Like if they could go to the bathroom inside, like if you could.
Fits in yours.
Yeah.
I don't have one of those though.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's awesome.
Hello, my name is Vitessa Buffet. I'm the North Carolina Army National Guard Outreach Coordinator. Fall under family programs. If I had to choose, I would rather own a dog than a cat. Let's just say that.
But no pets right now.
No pets for me though. Just love that.
I love it. Kimberly, you want to go next?
Sure. I'm going to start with a picture of my dog Tucker right there, who's 7 pounds. Yes, a little 7 pounds, and will bite you about 7 times before you can pull your arm back because he's got a chihuahua. He's mean as a snake, but I love him. I am the CEO and the founder of North Carolina for Military Employment, NC for me.
Thank you. Ray?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ray Trapp, and I'm a Navy veteran. I'm Executive Director of NPower North Carolina, and it's very easy for me. I'm a dog person. I have a bulldog. Her name is Agatha, which is short for Aggie, because I am a loyal alum of the illustrious North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. So
That's
definitely
awesome.
definitely a dog person.
That's awesome. That is a fantastic name.
Yeah.
Michael?
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Bishop-Salyer. I am vocational development specialist for the Durham VA Medical Center, specifically in the homeless program. I am more of a dog person than I am a cat. I don't think I have ever owned a cat, but I did have a snake a long time ago.
Wow.
Nobody owns a cat.
That's true.
Oh, well, maybe, we haven't gotten through everything.
No, no one owns a cat. They may have a cat.
Oh.
but no one owns
Happens you.
Yeah, okay, they own you.
Dogs have owners, cats have staff.
I agree with you on that. I love you. Josh, you're next.
All right. So let's see if I can do this. Can you guys see that? That's Oscar. And Oscar's about 1,000 years old and is the most expensive free dog that has ever graced the planet. I would say I'm a dog person. Oh wait, well, I also have cats, or at least I'm on my cat's staff. But we are at a point where our pets are both extremely old and are taking more money than they are giving joy. So between vet visits and cleaning up miscellaneous surprises, and dealing with Alzheimer's in both of our animals, which I could go on and on with stories that would make you laugh and cry at the same time. But long and the short of it is, my preference is dogs over cats, but we have both and we love them both.
Oh, that's awesome. And tell us where you work.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I was like all in the animal zone. So I work at the Durham VA and I am with the Caregiver Support Programs program of General Caregiver Supports and Services.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
Diana.
Hi, everybody. I am Diana Marquez. I am a relationship manager with Talents Ascent. I am an active duty military spouse and a daughter of a Vietnam veteran, and I am a dog lover. I used to have a Rottweiler named Tank. He passed away in 2016. We had him for 12 years. We have not replaced him. We are waiting until we get our permanent home because we still are moving around. So we're waiting until we get a permanent home to get a new dog. So
I love that. 2 Tanks, same breed. I love it. Caroline?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Caroline Griffin. I'm with Josh at the Durham VA Caregiver Support Program. And my husband retired from the Navy a couple years ago, so that's my military connection. I apologize for my voice. I'm recovering from COVID right now, so I'm not going to turn my camera off. I was so sorry to miss your event this weekend, Brooke. I hope it went well. We were planning on taking the boys, which leads me into my pet story. I, am married. I have 2 boys, and our dog is also a boy. So I'm totally surrounded by boys, but have a lovely golden retriever Aussie Shepherd mix named Parker, who is also quite elderly at this point, but we love him a lot.
That's awesome. Thank you. I hope you're feeling better soon.
Thank you.
So we have someone logged in as Zoom user.
That's Nejla and Chad from Wake County Veteran Services. We had a little coordination difficulty, but we figured it out. I work for Wake County Veteran Services. I'm the supervisor. We deal with housing and housing instability. And of course, employment is an important piece of getting folks housed and helping them stay housed. And I like dogs for when I feel sad, and I like cats for when I feel angry, because they're good role models for how to deal with the world that doesn't bow to your whim. So
That's hilarious.
That's me.
Hello, I'm Chad. Like Nejla said, veterans housing social worker at the men's shelter. And I'd have to say I am a dog person if I have to choose between dogs and cats. And at my age right now, I'd rather have no pets, to be honest. I hope that doesn't sound too harsh, but we have 2 dogs. So.
Keeps you from being able to travel too much, I'm sure.
Right, and there's a lot involved.
Yes. Love it. Ashley?
Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley Wheeler. I am the student success coach for, excuse me, veterans and military connected students at Wake Tech Community College. When it comes to dogs and cats, I appreciate both, but I call myself an aunt. I play with them, I entertain them for my friends, and I can give them back to whom they belong to. So I play the aunt in that love of animals.
That's great. Okay, Zoom user. Oh, hi, come on. Hi. How are you? Please find a seat, have some lunch. We're just doing introductions online right now, and I'll put you on the spot in just a second. Okay. You're welcome. Okay. Kamisha, is that you?
Yes, ma'am. I don't know how I appear, if my name is appearing or not.
I'm just saying Zoom user.
My bad. I've been out of the office for a few months, so I just got back a week ago. So I'm glad to be back and joining back our community meetings. So my name is Carmisha Hernandez Luciano. I am the Assistant Director for Veterans Upward Bound, and we're hosted at Central Carolina Community College. We are educational transition program for veterans. We are any veteran or guard or reservist that wants to pursue a post-secondary education. We serve 5 counties in North Carolina. We serve Wake County, Lee, Johnston, Hardin, and Chatham. Hopefully I said them on Johnston too. So here we are. We are grant funded through the Department of Education. And even though our hosting institution is Central Community College, or veterans in any school they want to. So we try to help our students get in any school they want to attend.
Thank you. Good to see you. Okay, so what I would just love for you to, I'm Brooke Dickhart, by the way.
Okay, nice.
Thank you for being here. If you'll just introduce yourself, you can share your connection to the military. And then we've also been asking people as an icebreaker, are you a dog or a cat person, or neither or both?
Okay. So sorry I'm late. I was trying to get out of my office
You're
downtown.
good.
So I definitely want to be here in person and meet everybody. My name is Kamisha Alana. You know, growing up, we had both. I don't have any now. I think cats are easier to take care of personally because you don't have to walk them. You can leave them for a week and they're fine. So I work with Wake County Recovery Court, and oftentimes it's a drug treatment court program that is designed for individuals involved in the criminal justice system due to a substance use order. And so instead of incarceration, they come to our program if they're eligible and they have a substance use diagnosis as their primary. But oftentimes I get individuals that are veterans, and I'm always like, we got to take care of the veterans. There are a ton of services for them if you tap into them. Yes. My personal connection to the military is I was born into it. My dad retired my senior year. He's a retired major from the Marine Corps. And so I traveled all my life and was involved in it and was crying at his retirement because I didn't know what we were going to do without the military because I loved it. So that's my connection personally. And I work with veterans, homeless vets when I worked in Durham part-time at the homeless shelter, and we helped start a program for them. But I just really think that they should be taken care of for serving our country.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here.
And I met we were vendors together at the table at the NCACC conference.
Oh, nice.
And that's how I learned about this.
Oh, good. Well, welcome. I hope you found us okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we did.
Good.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Reverend Barbara Falana, and I am the wife of retired Major Roland W. Falana, USMC, 20 years. Wow. And I represent, of course, Kamisha is my daughter. And she said, we need to hook up, you know, okay. But I work with Women Veteran Support Services. And I think, not sure which one of you all, but you probably know.
Oh, yes. I saw
LaMonica Coleman,
yes,
community liaison, Patricia Harris, the founder and one of the co-founders and visionary. that we focus on helping women, veterans, and families in crisis, especially homelessness and domestic violence. I'm also a licensed professional mental health counselor, and have a heart for the military, being a military family and understanding how that works and all that can happen and the support that's needed. And so I'm glad to be here to meet all of you.
Thank you. Well, you just kind of nailed what this is all about, right? Learning about the groups to provide the support for our veterans and their families and our service members. I love Women Veteran Support Services, so very nice to meet you. Did we lose something?
It went black for a second.
Oh, okay. Y'all can hear us okay, right? Okay, good. Hopefully the internet stays okay. But welcome again. We're going to begin our panel discussion on employment. So we do have some panelists in person and online, but I want you to know this is a very open conversation. This isn't, you don't have to, wait to ask a question till the end. If there's something going on in the conversation, please express yourself. But we have Kristen, Michael, Kimberly, and Ray who are here to talk about veteran employment. And my first question is, I'm going to direct this at Ray. Please explain your role and how your organization serves veterans. And then we'll go through with all the panelists.
Perfect. Thank you for having me. First off, I love to be here. Love to be in any space that's working to improve the condition of veterans. So NPower North Carolina, we're the expansion of NPower, which is a national nonprofit, which seeks to move veterans from veteran status into gainful employment in the IT career path. So we also serve underserved youth from 18 to 26 years old, but we also focus primarily on veterans, veteran spouses, and also those transitioning out of the military. What we do is we take folks that have an interest in IT, and through 20 weeks, we provide them IT training. So they get CompTIA A+ certification, IT Fundamentals Plus certification, Google IT support certificate, and at the end, also an IT generalist apprenticeship credential, which is recognized by the Department of Labor. So all of that is on the training side, but we don't just end on the training side. We also do placement. So that placement is either direct placement with direct hire, internship, apprenticeship, or another win for me is also continuing into higher education. A true goal for us is for veterans to come into our program, have that interest in IT, us give them credentialing, and then figure out what is the next step in that career path. We do not say jobs because we don't focus on jobs. Jobs are easy. Careers are different. And so where we focus are on career paths and making sure that veterans have a career path and a stable career path that starts with the credentialing on our end. So that Tech Fundamentals is the first level of our course. There are 2 other courses after that, which are advanced training modules in cybersecurity and also cloud computing. So you could stay with us for a year and a half through non-tuition based training. We don't say free because there is a cost, but our fundraising method pays for it. So no trainee through our program in the 20 years of NPower has ever paid a cent towards their credentialing or towards their placement after that. So we have a model that works and has been successful all over the country in 9 other states. And I'm leading our foray into North Carolina. We're based in Raleigh, but we do serve the entire state of North Carolina. So I look forward to working with any of the organizations out there to skill our veterans up and also give them viable career paths.
Thank you, Ray. Kimberly, would you like to go next?
Absolutely, and it's good to see you again, Ray. Ray is partnered with our Director of Employer Engagement, Mac. So we're looking forward to that partnership. So I am Kimberly Williams, and I am the CEO and the founder of NC for Me, North Carolina for Military Employment. I actually started, and I didn't say what my military connection was. I actually, my father was, he's passed recently, but he was a commander in the Navy, and I grew up on the Navy base in Key West, Florida. And then my daughter is currently an active duty Marine, getting ready, actually, was just selected for embassy duty. So I'm a little nervous about that as a mom, but just wanted to give you my military background. I am not in the military. My experience is only in human resources. That is what I know. And I know talent acquisition from many years. I started my career with Carnival Cruise Lines as a director of HR, and then I moved to a company called Diageo. We own Smirnoff and Guinness and Haagen-Dazs and Burger King and Jose Cuervo, my personal favorite. And I ended up directing the human resources function for North America for the United States. So I know a little bit about talent acquisition and recruitment and selection. So I decided to use those talents to help our service members. I started NC for me under our governor at that time, Pat McCrory. It now sits under Roy Cooper. We sit under the governor's office. We are partnered, and I mean partnered not in a kind of loose sense. We are literally partnered with the Department of Commerce, the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs. We are also on every base, the military base. Our board is Secretary Gaskin, General Cornell Wilson, General Gorham, General Justice, and then some CEOs for companies like MetLife and Cisco. So we have a very strong board that helps steer our strategic direction. We have 3 program elements, and they all simply land our service members into careers. So in meaningful careers, we say no to a lot of companies, but our 3 program elements are simple. We educate strategic leaders on the value proposition of bringing in military talent. I found out early on that I thought, since I didn't know the military, that the problem was the veteran. When I say veteran, that means everyone we serve, which is veterans, transitioning service members, Guard and Reserve members, and military spouses. But I thought, well, maybe they didn't know how to interview or write resumes. So I first directed all my attention to helping the veteran. And I realized early on that it wasn't the veteran. The veterans are well-trained. It was the employers. And I thought about why that was. And it was painfully obvious that 99% of the nation's population has never served. Only 1% has. And I'm in that 1%, right? And I don't get it. So we went out to educate employers so they would get it. They understood the value proposition. We educate strategic leaders with real data on why bringing veterans into the workplace is a good thing for their business. Then we educate HR professionals through the National Society of Human Resource Management. We're accredited. So we educate HR professionals because you have to have both. If you have the strategic leaders on board and not HR, it doesn't work. If you have HR on board and not strategic leaders, it doesn't work. So we simply get them on board and then we connect them. So we do career connections. We're proud to say we've just reached over 12,000 career connections. And people always say to me, why do you do this work? Because it is arduous and it is time consuming, and I have a day job. And the reason I do this is because I truly believe we are saving lives. I think that when you serve in the military, you are used to being on a team, you're used to adding value, you're used to serving. And then all of a sudden, particularly those that don't retire, that come out after 4 or 8 years are no longer serving, they're no longer being recognized or rewarded with a paycheck. And we know what can happen in that case. So we are proud to say that we serve our transitioning 20,000 service members across this state, and also our veterans, our Guard and Reserve and spouses. And our hope is to continue to do that work because it's been very successful.
One of those connections.
Oh, nice. I love it.
You know, it's interesting because it's not often, those of you that know me know, it's not often I would come to tears, but when I go to locations like Cisco to an event and 3 people on my way to the restroom stopped me and told me that the only reason that they were still here is because of the career that they got at Cisco. And I mean, I went to the bathroom and cried. So it's nice to hear that, Saban. Of course, I know you well, but also look at Mark Edmonds, who is the COO, Chief Operating Officer for the Department of Commerce, who's on our board, who got his position through us. So we strategically place people.
Kristen, you want to go next?
Sure. So I'm with Hire Heroes USA. We are a national nonprofit that focuses on kind of how we call it empowering veterans, current service members, military spouse through the employment process. So it comes at any stage in your transition. We don't, work with people who are only currently transitioning out. You could have transitioned out in the 80s and we will still work with you the same as if you transition out 6 months from now. But we kind of go through that process with you. You're assigned a one-on-one transition specialist who works with you through that process to determine what is that next career step for you. So as everybody's talking about, finding that career, finding that space that you fill, and, you know, finding that, you know, the steps that make sense to you to achieve those goals. And so with that, we kind of have several different programs that are focused on different populations. Like we have one for our junior enlisted population. We have one for our spouse population. We just recently launched this summer our women veteran program to focus in on women veterans specifically. I run our federal program, so it's a little bit of shift from the population to where you want your career to grow. And with that, we also have a few other local presences, more specific partnership in Idaho and things like that. But the goal is to really make sure that we're providing that support where you need it, and making sure that we find connections for you. So, you know, not only are we working with you one-on-one, we provide webinars, we have a whole volunteer program to connect you with people in industry, to connect clients with, you know, different people where you might not understand what does it entail to go out and work in a Fortune 500 company. You know, what does that work environment look like? We can connect you with that volunteer who already works in that environment to get a lot of those questions answered. Different things of that nature. I know that's a very high level. I can get into the nitty gritty if you want a little bit more. I just celebrated my 9-year anniversary last week, so I've been there for a very long time now. There's a lot of different bits and pieces that have grown and evolved, and you know, I've stuck it out there for a very long time now because it continues to grow and evolve as, you know, industries grow. As we're looking at, you know, IT and different things that come up, making sure that we partner with good organizations when they come to us looking for that support and resource. So
Awesome.
High level.
I actually used them as a military spouse when I initially came to the States. And you guys helped me with the resume and kind of mock interviews and all that. So
did you work with Kelly?
I don't remember who I worked with.
She's the face of our spouse program.
Oh, okay, probably.
If you
But
get
I enjoyed my conversation, so I really appreciate it.
Very cool. Thank you. Michael, will you talk a little bit about your role with the VA in your program?
Sure. Good afternoon. And I forgot to mention my military background. I'm a former Marine. As they say, once a Marine, always a Marine. So I kind of believe that too. But we have quite a few different parts to 2 different programs in the VA. We have what's called compensated work therapy. We have transitional work, which is a 6-month program that somebody can come into, get work skills, and the whole goal is to get them employed competitively at the end of that 6 months. We have a program called supported employment for vets with severe mental illness. And there's 2 people that work with them to get them competitive employment based on whatever it is they're wanting to do. Every one of these programs are based on the individual vet from the very beginning. And then we have a person that can help somebody do voc rehab, either Chapter 31, which is VA voc rehab, if they have a service connection, or if they do not, they can she can help them get connected with state voc rehab. And then my program specifically works with homeless vets, and I can work with any part of the homeless program, which some of you may or may not know the different parts, but we have temporary housing. We have a program with TROSA for substance use treatment, and we have HUD-VASH, which is our voucher program, which puts people into housing. And so I can work with anybody within those programs, help them get employment. Again, it's all based on their needs, their backgrounds, their work backgrounds, their criminal backgrounds. I help them write resumes, do mock interviews, go to job interviews. I take a lot of my vets to the interviews. We're talking all along the way about how to answer certain questions, especially you know, if you have a criminal background or whatever. And kind of one of the biggest things that I talk to people about is, you know, the day, you know, finding employment now is everything is online. The days of a paper application are long gone. Everything is online. You have to write your resume online. You have to put in applications and everything. And a lot of our older vets, specifically, most of my vets are probably 50 or older. You know, they don't know how to look for the jobs. They don't know how to write the resumes. And they don't have a computer. A lot of them don't even have a computer, but even if they did have a computer, they don't know how to, you know, to look for the jobs. So that's where I come in. You know, literally anything and everything to do with employment, I can help a vet. I think probably one of the biggest, one of the craziest stories. I had a vet that had 120 felonies, and I was able to help him find employment. So you know, you get all kinds. And I love what I do. I've been here since 2011, and I was homeless myself. So I know kind of, I come at it from, I tell my vets I come at everything from a different angle than anybody they work with, because most everybody they work with are social workers. I'm not a social worker. I'm a vet just like them. So I talk to them different. You know, I tell them, you know, when they're messing up, when I think they're going to, you know, they're going to succeed. I give them, you know, everything that they really need to succeed. Before COVID, I had a really good success rate. Since COVID, it has been very sporadic with employment. And it's funny because everybody is hiring. I mean, you can't go to a place without them having a sign on the door saying they're hiring. And a lot of places are hiring at fairly decent salaries. I mean, even Bojangles is $15 an hour, and Target around here is $20 to $24 an hour. So, you know, there's a bunch of things out there. And again, it's all based on, you know, what the vet comes to me and how they want to do it. So.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing all that. I think it's interesting, unintentionally, when I pulled this panel together, I didn't realize that I was getting groups that work with veterans in all different phases. So whether it's someone coming out of the military and trying to figure out their career, or late in their career, or, you know, and so it's a really good perspective to hear from all the different levels. So I really appreciate that. But kind of to lead into that is, you know, how do we recommend, or, you know, if we're working with a veteran, what are the processes to get into your organization that you would, you know, like to see from us, from the community partners, when we're working with a veteran? You know, if I'm working with someone who wants to get into the technology field, like, how do I refer them to you, Ray? How do they start the process?
Absolutely. Being an IT training educational platform, we make it as simple as possible. Our application is online, so there is an online application process. So we urge all veterans to use that online application process. Fill out the application online. From there, there's a screening interview. There's an interview with a recruiting and admissions manager, and finally an interview with the social support manager. And so for our program, it's not just about the training, but we have that social support manager in place for any opportunities that may arise through training, to make sure that the veteran can get through training. If there are resources out there that they're not tapped into from many of the partner organizations around the table, the job of our social support manager is to connect with those organizations to make sure that we're setting every vet in our program up for success. So very simple online application, fill out the application. There's no prerequisite as far as training or any type of credentials other than a high school diploma or a GED. So very easy process with us, online, and easy application and interview process.
Is there anything that we should know when we're talking to a veteran to kind of have in the back of our mind who might be, I don't know if candidate's the right word, you know, what, like, how would we identify the right individual for your program?
Yes, the one thing that we love are people that have that interest in IT. We start at the basic level of IT. So folks will come to us and say, hey, I'm interested in coding, I'm interested in software development. Well, that's not what we do. We train infrastructure-based IT folks. So these are the folks that set up your network. These are the folks that go out and if you have an issue. So all of these jobs we know are moving hybrid and people are moving to work from home. These are the folks when you call your help desk, they're talking you through or taking over your computer to fix whatever troubleshooting that you may have. So these are the jobs that are kind of recession proof. And so these jobs have continued to grow. We've seen a downturn in the IT field as far as opportunities are concerned. But where we are and with that IT help desk analyst, those opportunities have actually increased as we've seen more jobs work from home and more jobs go to hybrid. So that's what we're doing. We're putting folks in fields that are kind of recession proof. It's hard to say that there's a field that is recession proof, but we're following the trends of the market. And so with that, we want to make sure that we have folks that have that want to be in this field. And that's it. You know, the one thing that we have with vets and in our pilot class that we have right now going on, we have a vet that's 22. We also have a vet that's 47. And they both are amazing in the class. And they kind of spur on some of the young adults that we have that are in that class because they see the work ethic that they have, which military folks come in with. I'm ready to do the job. I know what I have to do. So for us, as long as you have that desire to be in the tech field, we'll find a place for you.
Awesome. Kimberly, oh, go ahead. Yes.
Are those classes all online?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. So what we do, we're a 20-week program, and some folks get done in the program within 16 weeks, but we have 20 weeks because the CompTIA A+ certification is not just a box check certification. It is an arduous process, as Kimberly said earlier. It is a real industry recognized certification. So we want to make sure that we're setting folks up for success. So the total program is 20 weeks. We do online classes. The only day we meet in person is 1 day per month. We do meet in person for professional development. Another thing that we do, which not so much we have to worry about with veterans, because veterans, of course, come out of the military with that professional development and ready to go to work. But with some of our younger folks, we need to hammer home some of those soft skills. And even for vets, it's good to touch up on soft skills and customer service. So 1 day a week is focused on professional development. And then 1 day per month, we actually meet in person to do professional development on the campus of Shaw University.
Bill?
What, is there too soon for a veteran that's getting out of the service to reach out to y'all to get started on for one of your programs? I mean,
absolutely not. No, as soon as you know and you think that this is a program, so we run similar to the 4-year in the tech schools with a fall and a spring cohort. But we also are working on getting SkillBridge into North Carolina. So SkillBridge works with transitioning veterans. And right now we're in Norfolk and we're also out in California. And so we are working on that process for North Carolina as well. But for my program, you do have to be already a veteran, not transitioning out. But SkillBridge is that answer. So we're national. So we will be moving SkillBridge to North Carolina as well.
So if a veteran doesn't have access to a computer or laptop, did you say everything's online? Is that a resource you all provide?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. So we provide laptops for folks that do not have laptops. We also provide hotspots for folks that do not have internet access in their homes. We do not want there to be any barrier that exists with training. We also have scholarships and grants where things pop up. We know anything can pop up that can be a deterrent for someone finishing a training program. So we want to make sure that we set people up for success. So we do have scholarship and grant programs to where if there are things that pop up, an electric bill that you can't get paid or anything that falls in that line, you can't fix a car because you can't get to professional development on that 1 day. We're going to take care of that because we want you to succeed.
Okay, thank you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Kimberly, I'll put the same question to you about how we, identify and recommend or refer veterans to your program.
Absolutely. So I would listen, what we need is we need to get every veteran and every spouse, guard, and reservist to our programs because we can definitely help them. As a matter of fact, Ray, do me a favor and call Mac and talk about SkillBridge because we were just certified and you might be able to piggyback on us until you get through. Okay. The reason NC for me was created was to really be an umbrella for services, anything employment. So Ray is helping with employment. So we work with Ray. O2O Onward to Opportunity helps with employment. So we work with O2O. We partner with all these partner organizations. And we want people to see us as that one-stop shop, right? Because if they come to us, then we can identify what their needs are with our staff, and then we can push them to Ray. Ray and Mac have met repeatedly about what we can do to partner together. And I actually met with Ray's national leader recently at MetLife. So what we need you to do is advertise our events. When we started NC for Me, and the reality is NC for Me was started as an economic development initiative. The number one driver for economic development is talent. Our governor wants companies to come to the state. And, if we can prove we've got the talent here, the companies want to come here. The big ones, Amazon, Nike, Apple, all these companies that we're winning, it's because they're saying, number one driver is talent. Show me you have talent. We can show them a number that says 20,000 transitioning service members are leaving North Carolina bases every year and they don't have jobs. And we can map their talents. You add to that our veteran population, our spouse population, we are very attractive to come to. We get that. But we do it because we want our service members to have meaningful careers because they've served this country and we owe it to them, to be quite honest with you. So it used to be an employment market, right? The employers were in charge. Now it's flip-flopped. We've pivoted 180 degrees. And the reality is that the veterans get to choose where they go. So our goal is to focus on getting veterans into our system. That's done through what we call intakes. We attract veterans to us through events. How is that? We do things called beers and careers. It's one example. It's just that you come, you drink a few beers, we give you a few tickets, you get beers, you play cornhole, we get you in our system. We find out when you're transitioning out. We find out if you're a veteran, how long you've been a veteran, where you're interested, where do you want to live? Now, I will tell you, we do keep about 50% of our folks that we work with in this state, and about 50% we don't. We just place someone in Germany with Booz Allen. The reality is we want to make sure they get meaningful careers. But if we can keep just a couple percentages of the 2% of the people that transition out of our military bases in the state, that's a success. So we have to get the message out to our veterans. So whatever you can do to advertise our upcoming events, if you go to ncforme.org, you can see all of our events. We do beers and careers. We're on every base. So we're in the transition focus, right? We're on TRS, TAPS. We have a office at Fort Liberty. We have one here in Jacksonville. I'm in Jacksonville, right outside the gate at Camp Lejeune in New River. We're at Cherry Point today. Max at Cherry Point today. We're over in Seymour Johnson. So our goal is to attract veterans into our space so that we can connect them to the careers that we have listed. We have hundreds of careers listed that we want to push people to in companies that are very anxious to get military talent, just not talent, but military talent, because they do understand the value that they bring to their organization. So anything you could do to get our word out would be fantastic.
Thank you. Michael, same question to you. I mean, is it a different process because it's VA, or, if I'm working with a veteran who isn't VA connected, but, is looking for employment, what would I need to do?
Yes, if they are not connected with the VA, then we need to get them connected because I cannot work with someone that's not connected. However, I will help them with the process, try to get them the 1010 Easy, which is pretty easy to look up online and be able to get connected. But yeah, if they're interested in any of the programs that I talked about, they're welcome to call me. You're welcome to call me and get me connected to the vet. However, if you just want to give me their number or give them my number, which my number's out there pretty well. I have a cell phone that's dedicated just to me because I'm out in the field a lot, so I'm not at a desk most of the time. So any of those ways. And yeah, I'll be glad to talk to any vet.
Thank you. Kristen?
Yeah, it's as simple as going on our website and registering for services. It's a short form, and there are multiple forms that if you engage with it more, you're more likely to make it through the system that next week. But it's a quick and easy process. There can be other ways where you connect us, you know, so we're aware of people coming into our system. I know we have formal agreements with certain organizations, official partners, that move them into our system faster to make sure that they are assigned out that next week. But our goal is to make sure that everybody who comes to our organization can be connected with a transition specialist and get working ideally the next week. Sometimes there's rollover the following week, but online form. They don't need to be associated with VA or, you know, any one of our partners to come and start working.
What's your address?
Okay.
Your online, you said.
HireHeroesUSA.org. Hire Heroes.
Heroes.
Yes.
All together?
Altogether, USA.org. I can write it down for you if you'd like, in a little bit. Because it all runs together. I promise you, it took me at least a couple of those 9 years to make sure I had all the vowels in the right order.
And we do a follow-up email with everyone's contact information also for follow-up questions and that sort of thing. And but you're saying I can refer them to your website, but if I do have someone, I do know sometimes it's a little better for when I'm working with a veteran to make that connection to a person.
Mm-hmm.
So is there someone that would be better for me to just pick up the phone and call and say, okay, I'm going to send this veteran to your system, but I need you to know they're coming in. And that's kind of, I think, what you were saying, right? With some of your partners, that's something that we can do, or.
Yeah, so we can have like formal, like MOUs and things like that. It can be as simple as, because you're talking with us in this area, we are local in this area, you can connect us, even if we aren't the one that ultimately we're working with them one-on-one, we can still walk them through that process. We can still be that warm handoff.
I've just seen it sometimes with our veterans that we're working with, that's a little more effective than just saying, here's the website. So I always like to make sure I have clarity on that. I don't want to just be like, hey, Kristen, I'm sending this veteran to you.
Feel free.
I think if you just tell somebody about the website, they procrastinate and they don't get around to it. But if you kind of got somebody.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Yeah, we try to make it as simple as possible, but for those people who can just that little bit, you can reach out to any of us and we can make sure everything gets coordinated. And it does sometimes give us some clarity to, you know, maybe cheat and put them where they really need to be, and not rely on that form.
Nice.
Yeah, and the process, I was wondering too, sometimes with, like you say, you go online, but how long is that process to do it and whatnot, you know?
Yeah, we're always trying to reach out and kind of give them, you know, clarity through that process, but ideally we try to get them, everybody's assigned out on Monday, so ideally we try to get you working with somebody the next Monday.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's good.
So at most, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of the veterans get frustrated, especially when they're in crisis. It's
And if you do get a rollover email that says, you know, there's not capacity, register again, it kind of bumps you up in the list. I don't know if I can tell people that.
We didn't hear anything.
It's okay, I'll blame it on Tom.
I love it. There you go. So one of the questions that I love to ask in these meetings, because of what the VMFA is about, is what gaps or struggles can you identify that we can work together to minimize? And I know Kimberly gave the example of sharing the events, you know, getting the word out. So I asked that question also to Ray and to Michael and Kristen, you know, what can we do as community partners to help in this space? Who would like to go first? Michael, I'll call on you.
I think probably the biggest gap for most of our vets is transportation. You know, bus passes are non-existent. I think I don't think the VA's had bus passes in probably conservatively say 10 years. So you know, there's so many different things. I mean, you know, we are connected to Wheels for Hope, and things, but you know, even that takes the $700 to be able to do that, and working. And so then the time while they're working to save up the $700, they've got to get back and forth to work. So I'd say that's probably our biggest gap in the services is transportation.
Wow. Ray?
Yeah, I think for us, it's word of mouth. To Kimberly's point, is sharing. We're brand new. I've literally been on the job for a little over 3.5 months, and we're brand new to North Carolina. So in some other areas, other states like Texas, NPower's been around for 20 years. New York, New Jersey, they've been around for 20 years. California, 20 years. So they're there, and folks know about them. But in North Carolina, it's simply sharing that we're there.
Kristen?
I think sometimes there's really great opportunities to collaborate on pathways forward. I know because we're a little bit more established than Freeman, but there's different conversations that I've been having with other program managers of how do we kind of outline some of those different opportunities to connect people together, outline different career paths. You're speaking about IT training programs, and kind of outlining what that roadmap would look like for them. I think there's a lot of opportunity to kind of outline different things. I work particularly in federal, and there's just a lot of information everywhere that you just don't know what to do with. And what does that look like for you in your road path, like your map forward? I think that there's a lot of unique opportunities to really come together on that front.
I love that.
And Brooke, if I could add.
Yes, please.
You know, when I started, prior to starting NC for me, I started Virginia Values Vets in Virginia, right? Which is a very similar concept. Nobody was talking about veteran employment. Those words didn't exit anyone's mouth. Now, and when we started NC for me in 2013 here in North Carolina, there were very few organizations. I think Hiring Our Heroes started the year after that. And everybody knows the national organization is very powerful at this point. Here's the thing. I have a friend that uses a phrase, and it's, you know, our veterans are drowning in a sea of lifesavers. The problem is our data is getting skewed now with too many veteran service organizations that are kind of one-offs, right? People that have great hearts that want to do great work, but they make noise in the space because there's a lot of participation kind of measured, but not results. And our veterans are confused. And I see Ray shaking his head because we've had this conversation. So, for example, I just mentioned Hiring Our Heroes. We've partnered with Hiring Our Heroes because we believe we're stronger together, right? There's no need for us to have a hiring event the week before Hiring Our Heroes. So it's just confusing our veterans. So we partner to do that together to be stronger, to help our service members. The problem is that when you have so many, like everyone on this phone is doing something different. Everyone on this call is doing something different. So we're adding value to each other. But when you have organizations that are one-offs, that are not necessarily adding the value that they could, but adding to the confusion, then it becomes a problem. And our veterans don't know how to weed through that space. And quite honestly, our employers don't know how to weed through that space. So I would say we have to be cautious about who we kind of hang our hat with and say, yeah, you know, this is a great organization. Or even what we do is weed through employers where people say, this is a great employer, because we have employers, we flat out say, we're not going to work with you because you are not focused on veterans. You're just trying to find talent and just someone that can breathe, right? We're not working with you. So I would say we need to be cautious about this veteran space because there are organizations that are good. I mean, they have a good heart, but they're not adding value in the space, or some that aren't good, that don't have a good heart, that are doing it as an opportunity to make money. And so I say that as you go through and focus on this environment, we should probably recognize those that we bring to panels to talk with, that we give support to or put in front of others to make sure we're vetting them, right? And doing a good job with that. So I just say that because I think there's a lot of people with great hearts and they want to do good work, and it creates confusion. And there's some that don't have great hearts that aren't doing good work and are being profitable when they're not supposed to be.
Yeah, very true. Thank you for that. Now with I like to keep the time in mind, trying to keep us to an hour. I know there's so much more we could discuss, but I like to leave the last few minutes for announcements. But I also want to share, if you have an event that you would like for the Joel Fund, or I should say the VMFA to promote, add us to your email, add me, and we can put it on our social media. We have a VMFA page. And then the Joel Fund will share from there and that sort of thing. So please add us. And if you don't follow us on Facebook, definitely follow the Greater Triangle VMFA page. But that is one way that we try to help, is to promote your events through that website or that Facebook page. But does anyone have an event coming up that they would like to share with the group before we hop off?
Absolutely. We have several coming up. We've got November 1st. We have a TRS event that'll be here in Jacksonville. That's our New River event. We also have November 8th, the Beers and Careers here in Jacksonville at Angry Ginger at Veteran Pub. And we also have one November 16th at Dirtbag Ales right outside of Fayetteville, and also a veteran owned.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I would like to share. I actually working with the National Guard and the Reserve component. I do this North Carolina Military Veteran Partnership Program, which is something really similar to this, but we kind of focus more on the Guard and Reserve. And we usually bring resources that work with us directly and have helped us directly to kind of like come together, see what the challenges that we face in the North Carolina National Guard. Our team is kind of assigned all over North Carolina to different units. So we get those cases usually all the time that come through our offices, starting from the veterans and then as well families. So we kind of like to bring those organizations and see what the challenges are and how they can help us help those service members and create working groups to like basically help that veteran with whatever the issue is. So we usually move, so it's bi-monthly. That we just had one in High Point, North Carolina. The next one is going to be in Hendersonville, North Carolina. East Black Rock Armory is usually on military armories, and it's going to be November 7th. So I can share that information through Brooke with you guys, and I would love for you all to attend if you would like to. Thank you.
And Brooke, if you could get that information to me, whatever's learned from today, and I can get it to my marketing team, because we can share that. We've got quite the social media following. And if I can add to your comment, General Lusk helped us start NC for me. He was your adjutant general at the time, and General Hunt, who's now your adjutant general, is on our board. And oh, by the way, Keith Warzon, who runs your employment center, we couldn't survive without him and his team. So thank you.
Yeah, they actually helped me get the job that I have now. So we work with them a lot. I mean, we fall under the same G1 program. So we work together.
Very nice. And yeah, I will put all of this in an email, and so Kimberly, when you get it, you can even just forward the email on too, and it'll have, so what I'll do is I'll give it a day or two to gather flyers if people want to send that. I know Caroline put something in the chat about the caregiver stuff coming up in November. So if you have stuff that you want to share with dates specifically, please send it my way, and I'll add it to the email.
Will you share the hotel hiring event that I shared?
Yes, I think Katie is already planning to do that, but I'll put it in there.
Okay.
Thank you. Bill?
I got a couple.
Yes.
November 4th is the Raleigh Veterans Day Parade. After the parade and ceremony there is over, North Carolina Vietnam Veterans Incorporated for the last 36 years has met at the Capitol at the Vietnam Memorial and call out the names. Those are still missing from the war in Southeast Asia. We have one being buried today in Waynesville, who was missing 56 years, but there's 38 from North Carolina, and we'll be having that ceremony at 12 o'clock on November 4th. Also coming up on November 9th, 10th, 11th is the Joel Fund art show. It's going to be at the brewery. What's the name?
Tobacco Wood. Tobacco Wood.
Tobacco Woods Brewery, owned by a lady veteran. It's gonna be there for, different programs that the, Joel Fund has. Also, kind of through the Joel Fund, the writing program that, the Joel Fund has will be having a presentation on the 18th of November at the Women's Club in Raleigh. What there will be there, if you have not seen it, there is a play done by a Vietnam veteran. It was done was done live for many years at the North Carolina History Museum. But as the veterans were getting older, it was harder to get them moving around. So we had it professionally recorded. It's called Etchings in Stone. And the concept is you are visiting the Vietnam Memorial Wall, but you're inside the wall looking out at other people visiting the wall. Like a soldier who's coming to talk to his men that he sent out on a listen post and they didn't come back. Agent Orange, it covers all aspects of the whole thing is 90 minutes. It will be shown normally at the North Carolina History Museum. The Else Lodge is going to be showing it a couple times in Raleigh, but they haven't given me the dates yet. But Etchings in Stone will be at the Women's Club on the 18th, and also some of the students from the Joel Fund writing program will be presenting some of their work also. So
Do you have a time?
I'll get it to Brooke and
Okay, all right.
Unless you already know what it is. I think it's in the afternoon, reception after and everything, so.
Okay.
But I'll get the time. They don't give me too many details at the time because it confuses me, so. They just say show up and so that's all. There is a green light initiative coming out, starts November 6th. It's kind of like red shirt Friday, support the troops. You wear a red shirt on Friday. This is the green light, and it's going to be all the way state. The governor's coming out with a proclamation. Basically, you get a green light and turn it on your front porch, and that week on Veterans Day, you just shine the green light to show support for the troops and so forth. Wake County's is pushing it real big. Lowe's usually has a series of green lights available for you to buy your green light bulbs. But
Yeah,
that is,
Amazon is also doing a discount. Amazon is also doing a discount.
that's right. Amazon's also doing a discount for the green light program. But you'll be hearing more about it pretty soon with the governor coming out and the Wake County commissioners bringing it out. So
Awesome.
I apologize, but I'm late to a 2 o'clock. So
Thank you, Kimberly.
it's been a pleasure. Good to see everybody.
Thank you. I think we're wrapping up, so I'll get out an email. Thank you, Ray. Good to meet you. Just a quick reminder, our next meeting is on November 14th. It'll be hybrid like this. And the topic is veteran benefits, and we are going to focus on spouse and survivor benefits. So hope you can join us then. So everyone have a great afternoon. Thank you. Thanks, Kristen.